So, rumor has it, you want to get into wood turning. Maybe you're a longtime woodworker, but you've just never dabbled with a lathe before. Or maybe you're not a woodworker at all, but you've seen custom pens, bottle stoppers, and bowls like these made by other wood turners, and you want to try making them for yourself. Well, whatever your reason is, that's fantastic, because whomever you are, you can become a wood turner, no matter what your background with wood is, no matter how old you are, and even if you only have a modest budget. There are loads of different things you can make on a lathe, and it's a craft that offers enormous opportunity for creativity. And to that end, I want to talk about 5 types of tools and supplies that any new wood turner is going to need. And they are a lathe, turning tools, a couple of devices for holding wood on the lathe, wood and a few other helpful supplies, and personal apparel to make wood turning safer and more pleasant. The first purchase you'll need to make, of course, is the nerve center of wood turning, the lathe. You can't turn bowls or handles or spindles or pens without one of these shop tools. But before we can go through your lathe options and how to choose what you need, let's take a closer look at the essential components of any lathe. Any lathe you buy for general purpose wood turning will have the following components: a bed, a motor with some sort of speed changing system, a headstock that houses a threaded drive spindle, a movable banjo that holds an adjustable tool rest, and a tailstock that contains an extendable quill. The bed of the lathe gives the machine its strength and much of its mass. It's usually made of cast iron to help dampen vibration, and it also serves as a mounting surface for this movable banjo and tailstock. And here's a universal truth about lathe beds: the heavier they are, the better, no matter what size lathe it is. A heavy bed reduces vibration, so cuts will be smoother, and its mass keeps the lathe from moving around during use. That becomes super important the larger and heavier the workpiece is that you're trying to turn. The overall length of a lathe's bed is also important. It establishes how long of a spindle the lathe can turn horizontally between its headstock and tailstock. Bed lengths can vary, and extensions are available for some lathe models to expand their capacity. Today's lathes have quiet induction motors that range from 1/2 to 3 horsepower. It has a pulley cluster on it that drives a belt to a second pulley cluster on the spindle in the headstock. Moving the belt between the different pulley sizes is what changes a lathe's speed range. And some lathes also have electronic variable speed control that allows you to change the motor's RPM incrementally by turning a dial. Now, the spindle in the headstock here both holds workpieces and spins them. It's threaded on the outside, but smooth and tapered on the inside, so it can hold workpieces by their faces or by their ends. The tailstock's extendable quill supports spindles and sometimes bowl blanks from the other end. It presses them against the headstock for 2 points of contact to hold them securely. And the banjo and tool rest provide a repositionable, solid platform for resting lathe tools against during the turning process. So there's a quick course on lathe components, but now let's talk about capacity, because that can have a direct impact on how large of a workpiece you can turn, and that can influence which lathe you might want to buy. This distance from the center of the headstock spindle to the lathe's bed is called the lathe swing. And twice this measurement equals the maximum diameter of a workpiece the lathe can spin. And when the tailstock is positioned all the way at the end of the bed, this measurement is called the lathe's distance between centers. It sets the maximum length of a spindle the lathe will turn. In a nutshell, that covers lathe components and capacities. Now we can talk about the 3 main categories of lathes in the marketplace: benchtop, mid-size, and full-size lathes. Benchtop or mini lathes like this, which are predominantly the smallest lathes, are a great way to get into wood turning. They're compact and light enough to be carried, they don't take up much space, and their 1/2 to 1 horsepower motors are powerful enough to get the job done, but not so powerful that you'll feel overwhelmed. 20 years ago, I got started on a benchtop lathe like this, and it served me well for a very long time. Now obviously, a small benchtop lathe is going to offer limited capacity. You're looking at a swing distance of 5 to 6 inches, so you can turn something up to about 10 to 12 inches in diameter. And the distance between centers ranges up to about 24 inches. If you want to turn small bowls, lidded boxes, bottle stoppers, tool handles, pens, and lots of other knickknacks, A benchtop mini lathe is an excellent choice. You can buy a benchtop lathe starting at around $350 brand new. And if you shop want ads, estate auctions, and garage sales, you might be able to find a used one in great shape for considerably less. A benchtop lathe will plug into any 110-volt outlet, and when you're done turning, many are compact enough to store under a bench or in a cabinet. It's worth noting that benchtop lathes don't typically come with stands or leg sets, but Rockler sells rock-steady shop stands that easily adapt into sturdy stands for benchtop lathes. And a number of manufacturers sell dedicated stands for their benchtop lathe models. Well, that about covers it for benchtop lathes. So let's talk about mid-sized lathes like this one. For many experienced turners who turn on a regular basis, a mid-sized lathe is the perfect compromise. It offers a lot more power and capacity than a benchtop lathe, but still at a price that's in keeping with other major woodworking power tools. This mid-sized Laguna lathe, for instance, has 7.5 inches of swing, so it'll turn bowls or platters up to 15 inches in diameter. Many mid-sized lathes offer enough distance between centers to turn full-size table legs, stair rail balusters, or chair parts, and they'll turn anything smaller that a benchtop lathe would do, down to the tiniest lid pull, fishing lure, or Christmas tree ornament with the same degree of precision. Mid-sized lathes typically have 1.5 to 2 horsepower motors that still run on 110 volts. They have heavier duty pulley and drive systems, and their headstocks, tool rests, banjos, and tailstocks are much larger, stouter components that are intended for hard use. Mid-sized lathes have a thicker, heavier bed, plus a stand or a leg set. These are stationary tools, and they're going to take up floor space, and that's a real consideration if you have a very small shop. These days, a new mid-sized lathe can easily cost $2,000 to $3,000, so it's not a small investment. But it's not a bad way for a beginner to go, and it's definitely a lathe you can grow into if you really enjoy wood turning. If you shop the used tool market and estate sales, you can find older mid-sized lathes selling for very reasonable prices. We've talked about benchtop and mid-sized lathes, but there's a third category, full-size lathes. These are large, heavy, professional-grade machines with impressive capacity. They typically have 3 horsepower motors that run on 220 volts, which is a pipe dream for many small shops. And they're very expensive, often selling for $4,000 or more. Full-size lathes really aren't for beginners. But someday, if turning becomes your passion, a full-size lathe like this might be perfect for you. Once you choose a lathe, you're going to need some lathe tools to go with it. Now, there are whole videos dedicated to which tools a new wood turner needs and how to use them effectively. I'm not going to go into that exhaustively here, but I do want to talk about 2 categories of lathe tools you should know. First, there are the traditional turning tools. These have all steel shanks that are sharpened on the ends, and the basic tools include bowl gouges, spindle gouges, scrapers of various sorts, spindle roughing gouges, skew chisels, and parting tools. Traditional turning tools have been around in the same basic forms for a long time, and they're the go-to tools for experienced wood turners, but they pose 2 challenges for beginners. For one, all of them must be sharpened regularly, and in some cases, honed and even buffed to work effectively. They will dull relatively quickly, and they won't work right unless they're resharpened. You'll need to learn to sharpen the tools properly, and that involves investing in a sharpening system of one kind or another. The second challenge with traditional turning tools is they don't all cut wood the same way. Each has its own learning curve, and that can be a challenge for beginners. But here's the good news. This second category of turning tools, these carbide insert turning tools, are much easier and more appealing for beginners. These carbide insert tools have a steel shank with a sharp piece of carbide screwed to the end. They come in diamond, square, and round shapes in large, medium, and small sizes. These carbide inserts stay sharp for a long time, and when they dull, you don't have to sharpen them, so you don't have to buy a sharpening system or learn how to use it. Just loosen the screw and turn the insert to a fresh, sharp edge. When all the edges dull, you just buy a replacement insert and install it on the same handle. And these tools are simple to use. You just push the carbide cutter into the wood, holding the tool level on the tool rest and turning it left to right. That's all there is to it. Carbide insert turning tools are tailor-made for beginning turners, and even experienced wood turners can find them useful. Buy a medium-sized set like this one from Rockler that comes with round, square, and diamond-shaped cutters. Then buy the larger or smaller sizes when you need them. So far we've talked about lathes and turning tools. Now let's talk briefly about 3 essential accessories you'll need with any lathe to hold wood on the machine. And those are a one-piece drive center, a ball bearing live center, and a faceplate. These will come standard with any new lathe you buy, but if you're buying a used lathe, be sure to ask for them. And you can also buy them as aftermarket accessories. The drive center and live center make it possible to mount a spindle by its center points on the ends. You can't turn spindles without one of each. A faceplate is used when you want to turn bowls, lids, plates, or platters, and you want to attach the wood to the lathe by its face. The faceplate has holes in it for attaching to the wood with screws, and it's threaded on the inside for mounting to the spindle threads on the headstock. And if you get into bowl turning, you're going to want one of these. It's a 4-jaw scroll chuck. It functions sort of like a faceplate, but with a lot more versatility. A scroll chuck threads onto the headstock spindle, and its 4 jaws can be opened or closed simultaneously to grip a range of workpiece sizes. These specialized jaws can hold something either by expanding them apart or squeezing them together, so they can hold the bottoms of bowls either by a mortise or a tenon, and they can also hold blocks of wood and spindles. 4-jawed chucks can be outfitted with a variety of different jaw sizes to expand their gripping range even more. Once you have one for your lathe, you'll use it over and over again for bowl turning and all sorts of other projects. Now, the object of our desire as wood turners is, of course, wood. And one of the truly great things about wood turning is that so much of that wood can be free. Whether it's hardwood or softwood, as long as it isn't rotten and it fits on the lathe, it could be a candidate for turning. So, don't overlook the firewood pile, pieces of a downed backyard tree, or scraps from other woodworking projects. It's all fair game. But if you don't have access to a lot of wood or the machinery to get it ready for your lathe, no worries. Rockler has a huge variety of turning blanks at rockler.com, including small bowl blanks, spindles, and pen blanks, plus a wide variety of larger and unusual pieces at Rockler stores that you won't find online. But wood is just the tip of the iceberg. Rockler can be your one-stop shop for nearly anything you could need for wood turning. We've already talked about lathes, turning tools, and sharpening systems, and you can get all of that from Rockler. Plus an assortment of finishing supplies for your projects, molds and epoxies for creating your own custom handle, pen, or ring blanks, a huge assortment of pen turning supplies, and a wide variety of kitchen utensil projects for your turned wooden handles. Rockler carries task lighting for your lathe, high-quality tool rests, dust collection kits and anti-fatigue mats, even racks for storing your lathe tools conveniently nearby. It's all at rockler.com or at a Rockler store near you. Our 5th and final category for tooling up has to do with personal apparel. That's because wood turning is messy. There's just no way around it. There will be chips and shavings flying everywhere. When you're sanding your projects, you're going to make a lot of fine airborne dust too. And there's some amount of danger here as well. Every great now and then, a chunk of wood will break free of the lathe and go flying. You need to be prepared for that. That's where having the right gear on can make wood turning safer and more pleasant. A full-length smock like this, for instance, that fits tightly around your neck, keeps wood shavings and chips out of your shirt and pockets. An ANSI-rated face shield is a must. It keeps dust and debris out of your eyes, and it also protects your face against anything that might fly off the lathe. And I always wear an N95 dust respirator whenever I'm turning dry wood or sanding it. I think protecting your nasal passages and lungs is just as important when you're wood turning as when you're doing general woodworking. We've covered a lot of topics in this tooling up video, and I hope you found it helpful. You can find more videos, educational resources, and project plans at rockler.com/learn and at woodworkersjournal.com. Wood turning is a lot of fun, so don't be afraid to dive in. You won't regret it. I'm Chris Marshall with Woodworkers Journal magazine and Rockler, and thanks for watching.